Good afternoon and welcome along to Destination Wellbeing. My guest this afternoon is Marie Fay, and Marie and I are going to be chatting, sort of keeping on with the theme that I've been sharing over throughout January. But now that we're into February, we're going to look a bit more about how we can really make, moving past the New Year's resolutions, how we can really make some changes into 2014. So just to remind anybody watching in this afternoon that Mary and I will be sharing experiences from our own experience and sharing our own bits and pieces, our own stories and our own views, maybe stuff that we've discovered along our own personal journeys and things like that. But that's the important bit, is that if we've any concerns about, I suppose, emotional well-being, maybe is what we'll be touching on closer today, our first protocol is always our GP. So just to bear in mind, and I think for all of us to take responsibility for whatever changes we're bringing into our lives and the direction that we want our lives to go. Good afternoon and welcome along to Destination Wellbeing.
Thank you very much, Joanne. Thank you for having me on.
You're very welcome. Our paths crossed, I suppose, synchronicity or however you would say it, but I was at a workshop myself doing some personal development early January time, and I noticed this beautiful calendar and with some really very beautiful inspiring images, which we'll share a few with the viewers now, and it's available through your website. So
it is indeed, yes, and through some shops, local shops in Dundalk.
Brilliant.
As well, yes.
So it's, and if Andrew just wants to pop up some of our images there, we can have them running along, because I'm sure you'll find inspiration. The one for January certainly inspired me. Do it now is
do it now. Yes, a few people have actually said that to me, that they've passed it in a certain frame of mind, and then this pops out, and they think, "All right, yeah, if I don't do it now, I'll be here this time next year."
So yes, we're doing it now. So your own journey into personal development. Share a little bit of your story and introduce yourselves to our viewers this afternoon, so we can get a bit of a feel of who you are and where we're going with this. So.
Well, my name is Marie Fay. I'm a local girl, born and bred, and I'm married with 2 children. And I've led quite a pretty, ordinary life. Grew up and school and college, and you get your job and meet your man and get married and settle down, get your house. And we started a family, and you think, oh, this is just wonderful. You're achieving so many things, and all that you've dreamed of when you were a little girl. So we had our son and our daughter, and I just noticed that I wasn't as happy as I thought I should be. Didn't really know what was wrong. I was weepy and just down in myself and not able to cope as well as I would have liked or thought I should have been doing. And so I went to my GP, and I was diagnosed with postnatal depression. So that was a journey in itself. It was quite difficult, and you are looking for, how can I get beyond this? What's wrong with me? I was on the medication, and which does help. It definitely helps you to, get a hold of at least some sort of a level of emotion.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that we would often have talked about here in the show is that it's great as a balancer. It can take back. It just maybe gets. It's not the right solution for everybody, and it's, for me personally, I don't ever find that medication, whether it's a painkiller or antidepressant medication or anything like that, is a long-term solution to anything. No. But it is certainly part of a short-term solution.
Absolutely, yes. It kind of took the sting out of it. It allowed you just to catch your breath, I guess, would be the way I would have looked at it. So, but I didn't like then it kind of flatlined your life then as well. So I thought, well, do I want to live like this? No, I didn't. I missed the passion or that feeling of life.
There's no up or down.
There's not. It's kind of, it's very even keel. So I thought, right, okay, well, this isn't how I want to be either. Yeah. So one thing led to another, and I started to meet people. You become a seeker then. I would have been a great avid reader when I was younger, and I had hadn't been reading for years. And I thought, gosh, I started to pick up some novels and started to read those, and really felt as though it helped you to just dream a little bit and come out of your head and into a little dream world.
Yeah, for a period of time that
Absolutely,
you're there.
yeah.
And it's one of the beauties of either even going to the cinema as well has that effect where for that period of time you're out of yourself and into a bigger world.
So then, going to the bookshops, I started to be drawn towards the self-development area, and really loved the journey then that I had. It absolutely helped me to get over, that time in my life. And I read so many books. Just loved it because, again, it was, and a lot of the books are kind of saying the same thing, how many books do you have to read? But you get somebody's personal slant, and something might just pop out at you that you can say, I can apply that, There was one book in particular actually that I absolutely loved and still love to this day, is Robin Sharma's The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
I have never read it, but I've seen it loads of times and have picked up one sort of either side of it or whatever, so I must get into that.
And I liked it because it was kind of a transition from, it's an adventure story, but it has the self-development built into it. So it was actually very easy to kind of look at it and say, I could apply those things to my life and see, will it make a difference? So
funny, I find Eat, Pray, Love was a bit like that.
I did
in
like that.
Same, whilst I wasn't as keen on the movie, but the book itself, it was somebody's story, it was somebody else's journey, but there were snippets there that you could take out and apply to your own life. But even if you didn't take anything out of it, you could just enjoy the story. And where
like nuggets.
Elizabeth Gilbert's life was kind of heading, and escape out of your own world for a little while into her world, and then there'd be this wisdom somewhere in there that you go, oh, maybe is she talking to me type
and
stuff.
It can shift your perception in an instant, and when your perception shifts, well, then everything shifts, because it's really, everything is a projection of how you're looking at things yourself. So that's what I found about the books, that it could just prompt you to think in a different way.
Well, funny, I was reading one of those, again, it was a snippet or an extract maybe out of a bigger story, but they were talking about how medieval man watched his family all get into a boat and sail off and head to the horizon, and as they disappeared over the horizon, he lost, he completely lost it and was so upset, and so because to him that was the end, because the world was flat. But if he had had the knowledge that we have now, it would have been he would have had a completely different experience, because he would have just probably turned around and went on about his day. But so everything, as you say, our reaction is always gauged on what we believe is happening.
Absolutely.
Because they were fine, he just believed that they weren't.
And
therefore he had a completely different perception than if he'd have believed they were okay.
Absolutely.
Our beliefs and how we look at things so shape how we react, I think.
It really determines everything. You say to yourself, if something's happening, say even here today, like we're having this conversation, but it's the same situation, it's the same reality, but yet we're both having a different experience of it. Because we're coming with our own perception of it.
It's a case of one of my favourite sayings is it's not what I say, it's what you hear as well. So it's 10 people and everybody that's watching in to what we're saying as well, despite the fact that our words are the same, will hear different versions, whatever applies to them and their belief system and their experience of life. So a very exciting field to be working in at
it is, absolutely. I mean, like, that was kind of a starting off point for me. Sure, I never thought that I'd end up doing what I'm doing, but reading all those books, I thought, how do people do that? And I'd love to be able to do that. And, spent kind of years progressing and, learning more and developing myself, and, just even feeling, of course, we fell across the law of attraction and The Secret and all to do with that, and that was very exciting, when you discover that for the first time. You're trying that out, and there was certain experiences I thought, well, why isn't it working, or why isn't it happening, and you kind of say, "I'll throw in the towel now," but you know, there's something in it that just attracts you back.
Yeah.
So in 2010, I thought, gosh, you know, we had watched a film which was kind of another turning point. It's amazing how, you know, media and different things can just affect the rest of your life. We watched a film called Yes Man. I don't know whether you've seen it.
No, I
with
haven't
Jim
seen
Carrey.
it.
It's really good. And again, it's the message that's within it, that how you can portray that in a film.
Yes.
But it was really, he was saying no to everything.
Okay.
And how his life just sucked.
Yeah.
And he was so unhappy and just didn't want to participate in anything. And he met this old colleague from years ago, and this guy had been to seminars, and it was about saying yes to life.
Okay.
So he invited him along, he came along, went to it, and he made this covenant as such that he'd say yes to everything. So he felt he couldn't say no. He felt as though it was done.
He made a promise, done and dusted.
Yeah. But his whole life changed. And I thought, oh, I'm going to try that. And I did. And it was just amazing. It was like as if you go from being closed down to being open up to new opportunities, even if they feel, well, I suppose they have to feel right as well. But it's like, you know, it's amazing how much we can say no to subconsciously without realizing, you know, that it can be a stepping stone to the next progression of your life. Or
we've already decided sometimes that things can't happen.
Yeah.
Without even, it's the Henry Ford one, whether you think you can, I think you can't, you're right. It's sometimes we shut that down so much.
Yeah, or if you've had an experience before and it didn't work, you kind of go, oh, I'm not going to try that again.
Yeah, and the fears and everything of it not coming in, not happening. But then the other side is, if at first you don't succeed, try again and keep practicing at it. So all of these cliches, I think, as they're often referred to, have come from somewhere, and they've come from wiser people than us in a lot of
who
cases,
have experienced
who have experienced that. And it's interesting you mentioned the secret as well, and that's often people's first introduction into the law of attraction. But for me, there's that wee bit that maybe gets missed in it, is what do I do if this isn't working? How do I cope with the blocks that I need to let go of, and how do I change that? Because it may be in some areas of your life as simple as thinking it, believing it, but that all depends on the belief structures and all those things that you've had. So that can be an interesting challenge sometimes as well. So I would tend to sort of say to people, you know, take the principles of the secret and blend them with other principles as well, and other things that are going on as well, because I don't think it's just as straightforward as a one solution to all that's going on in life. Have you stumbled across which is one of the newer sort of law of attraction book, it's E squared?
I've heard of it actually, but I haven't read it yet.
I'm doing a few of the E squared experiments at the minute, and it's really quite interesting because it helps you in that time of doubt.
Right.
Where you're going, no, but actually this does work.
Yeah, like I mean, you see
because you've got the experiment to prove that in theory it works. So if it's not working in theory in the part of your life that you want it to work in, then there's something that you need to fix, or there's an element that you need to clear, or there's a block or something like that. So
it's very interesting, isn't it? You know, I mean,
it's such fun. Yeah.
If you play with it, and you know, like at the start we were experimenting with it and playing with it, you know, and then you say, oh, it doesn't work, but you know, I've seen so much evidence of how amazing it does work. It's just, you know, you can't even nearly put it into words. And it's all about how, you know, we are, how our energies are. You know, that was going back to that yes man example. I could feel a shift in my energy straight away because I was just approaching life in a different way. And I was asking, you know, within myself for somebody to be able to help me to you know, get some more answers, or to find answers for myself. And I met a mentor. So that was a whole fabulous journey then after that. So, you know, working alongside a mentor who can help you to look at things in a different way and set you challenges, I guess, to say, right, well, you know, will I put the money where my mouth is and try these things and walk the talk? So it's been a very interesting journey, which has brought me now to doing my own mentoring programs, and you know, doing my calendar and greeting cards and writing and speaking.
Fantastic. So, and as you say, it's that journey, and every journey, I think, is made up of, well, every journey is, it's made up of so many different steps. So, and you might divert off course for a little bit and dander down that road and go, oh no, maybe not, and take yourself back again. And there's all of those tweaks and changes. And as you said, there's times where it might not work and it might not be going exactly, but you remind yourself of the times that it does, and to keep kind of ploughing on with those ideas. Again, one of those, I constantly fill my Facebook page with lots of positive messages, and most of the pages, in fact, whilst I have a lot of friends on the page, most of my newsfeed is usually pages that I've liked, because you get the inspirational messages in. But one that I saw the other day was giving up because of one stumble is like slashing your other 3 tires just because you've got one flat
tire.
You know? It's like we can't undo, and that, I think, applies to whether your journey is about weight loss, health, relationships, career, finances, whatever it is. One we slip back doesn't mean that we have to undo all of the steps forward.
No, it's like, you know, you build your muscles up, your emotional muscles, your spiritual muscles. You know, like, how does a baby learn to walk? It falls down, it gets up, it falls down, it gets up, you know, until it gets its strength, and away it goes. You know, it's the same, I think, with life. You know, different things happen in your life. You know, everybody has stuff. Everybody has challenges, you know, and it's not really what they are. It's how you deal with them, how you respond to them, you know, and also to be aware of, you know, this reaction. We can all react to things in our lives, but yet it doesn't make sense at maybe something that does happen. It's going way back to a pattern that has been created along the way. So it's to kind of catch yourself at that and realize, okay, well, I'm reacting something that happened years ago. So it's about learning how to respond.
Yeah, well, I love that. I love that idea of reacting. You're reacting out the story over
again. It's like, you know, oh, how is this happening again? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So there's different tools that you can learn that, and again, you know, everybody comes from their own perspective and their own situation. So it's to find what works for you. You know, and what might work for me mightn't necessarily be what you would like. So it's about trial and error.
And the more we were chatting briefly earlier about vision boards, and I've had a vision board for the last number of years, but I deliberately didn't do this year's in January, because I thought I want to settle into the year and kind of feel what dip my toes into the year and see where I feel that it's kind of going. And as I began to spend the last 4 weeks, really, so I sort of slowly built up, and I was gathering images and doing various different bits and pieces. But and somebody was saying to me, like, do you really think all of that works? And I said, well, whether it does or doesn't, it's fun to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's you know, like type of an approach to it. Yeah. And, you know, do I think everything on it's going to, well, I'm open to the fact that it might, or something better might kind of come along, but it gives me a good focal point and a good...
Absolutely, and, you know, we think in images, you know, I guess I came across the whole vision board concept in The Secret as well, and I loved the idea of it, and I thought, right, well, let's do one, you know. So I actually did it with the kids.
Brilliant.
I tried this a good few years ago now. And it was done on a very plain little sheet, sellotape together, and the kids gathered images and put them up on a vision board, and it went up on the wall. And it was more or less forgotten about. I mean, of course they'd glance at it, you know, and they'd sit maybe looking at it or whatever. But as I was working with my mentor, we decided that an opportunity came up that we could travel to America. And we went on a trip and came home. And one of the days shortly after that, I heard my daughter saying, oh, there's the view we had from our hotel room in New York. I thought, okay, let's have a look at this. Well, it was unbelievable, the stuff that was on the vision board that had actually come true.
Yeah.
Down to, you know, minute details of particular cars that you can only find in America, gingerbread house at Christmas that was in one of the hotels we stayed in. It was just incredible. So I thought, right, well, there's something in this.
Yeah.
you know, after
Fantastic.
watching the John Asraf thing and him after 5 years opening his boxes and discovering that he was living in the exact house that was on it. So that's kind of what started me then on the real, I suppose, belief in it.
And it is important because it will work when the belief.
But I mean,
comes in
even so, like, you know, there was no major energy gone into it, but yet there was no resistance to what went on.
I think that's the key, is that it's an open kind of possibility, and if there's resistance there, it's another block, and
you're looking at it saying, well,
no, that can't happen.
Yeah, I don't have that. You know, so there was no resistance doing it. So it was like, okay, well, how did this happen? You know, you can't really explain it to people, but yet you have to play with it and know that everything is an energy, and you know that like studies have been done that if you put your hand under a very detailed microscope, that you'll see it, you know, it's energy. It's a vibration. So like everything really is a vibration. There's no space that there is nothing in.
Everything.
So yeah, when you become aware of that, and what you're putting out is you know, what you attract. Is like being a magnet. That when you look at images, they say that your what you imagine in your mind with feeling is actually, you know, that there's no difference from that in reality.
And I do a lot of work with children, and interestingly, I was looking at the idea of visualization, and one of the names that I use for children to sort of get them excited and interested in it is Wayne Rooney. And apparently he takes himself off to whoever looks after I'm not the biggest football head in the world, but whoever looks after the kit and all that sort of stuff. So he'll go and he'll decide what kit colour they're wearing that weekend, and he'll know what's happening, and then he'll spend time visualising himself achieving his goals, and literally the goals, scoring them in the net, and doing what he needs to do. But it's all about the mental preparation before. And I mean, golf's a wonderful example of that, where they say golf is sort of almost 80-90% a mental game rather than actually any physical game. It's getting your head into the right space. So,
it is really, and you know, if you apply that to your life, one of the things that I would do every morning is to set my intention for the day. That, you know, send out there what you would like to experience in your day. You know, so you could pick joy. That no matter where I go, no matter what I do, I intend to experience joy in as many occasions as possible, and to bring joy to everybody I meet as well. But it's sending that out there. It's setting that intention. Whereas if we just, you know, fall out of bed and
don't even think about it, then our day just goes sort of either well or not. But and I think and one of where I was doing a workshop at the weekend, I was doing my laughter yoga training, and it's a very strange experience on that, because after 2 days of laughter yoga, where we were doing lots of different exercises and things like that, and I was on my way home and I stopped at the shop, as I would do all of the time, but there was 3 staff members behind the till in fits of laughing. They couldn't even serve me. They were laughing that much, you know, they were just in absolute convulsions. And like that, I was kind of thinking, well, I've put laughter out there in my day today, and I've met this, and I honestly couldn't tell you the last time I've seen people laugh as hard as what these 3, there were 3 young people, whatever had happened, I don't know what had happened previously, but something had come up, but the intention of my day that day was obviously laughter. I had set off that day, and I discovered it in lots of different ways. And you know, came home, and then I was having a conversation with Mummy, and we started laughing as well, and it was just that laughter was the energy of the day. So it's,
so you can see how you carry it through, but what you're focusing on is what you tend to actually see then in your environment, you know.
And that's an amazing exercise as well, even to set that, what am I focusing on today, and can I physically see it, and that builds up your confidence. I find that you can then and I'm sure working with your coaching clients and that, then that's the experience that they have.
It is. And, you know, people don't realise the little things are the things that make the big difference. You know, like setting your intention, you know, adopting an attitude of gratitude, you know, just it's the small things that, if you get into the habit of using them, it just changes how you approach your day and approach things that happen around you. So therefore things tend to flow more, and you attract more good things, and
which is something we'd all
absolutely
we'd all love that. We'd all like to attract. And I suppose the other thing is that it doesn't necessarily mean that the other stuff doesn't happen.
Oh well, no, that was
in all the time, and I think that can be a journey sometimes. And
that was another thing I had to get over. Yeah, I was like, you expect everything just to be rosy, and a lot of the time, your life in every area improves. As you know, you do improve yourself. Like, it all starts with yourself, really. But yet we come across things on a
that
daily
you wish
basis.
didn't happen, or you
absolutely,
would. But there's usually a lesson somewhere, or there's some part of your growth or your self-development. But I think one of the, certainly for me, and I know that in reading various different books and even using tools like your calendar and things like that, it's reminding yourself so that when something happens that you wouldn't like to happen, or maybe you don't feel, that it doesn't get out of control then, that it doesn't grow bigger, the mountain doesn't become, you know, from the molehill type thing, that this one thing that has went wrong doesn't have to control exactly my reaction to everything else. And, and that's okay, at that point it's like, right, well, I need to go back to my book now, or I need to find some inspiring images or inspiring quotes or things like that. And that for me is the beauty of having resources and tools, like or like a mentor as well. Because I think the mentor is the important bit. So it's somebody for me who's relatively impartial to, or who needs to be quite, because a lot of the time we rely on family members and friends to support us through life changes, and they're usually, and certainly in my experience, not always the best people, because they're emotionally caught up as well in whatever's going on. So,
they're role of
the role of a mentor or a coach can support through that.
Well, that was my experience of it was, as you say, they're not. You know, they're detached kind of from the whole situation, so it's like an aerial view then, because you're not in it. And that was also another thing, that, you know, to try and extract yourself from what might be going on and just look at it from a different perspective, and you can see clearer when you're not in the throes of whatever, you know. And just even, you know, say, right, okay, just relax and you know, don't get into the drama of it. You know, surround yourself with a friend of mine would use the way of surrounding yourself with people, places and things that inspire and uplift you. You know, that your environment is like a 3D vision board, really. Your home, everywhere you look. So it's fill it with the likes of inspirational material. Like social media is another place that really is full of inspiration, whatever you're looking for.
I mean, you can. That's one of the things I find about it. You can use social media to convince yourself of anything, and so I've chosen to use it to convince myself of positivity and the power of change and things like that. But you know, and anything that negative that comes into it, I just
you probably don't even attract it.
You don't, because there's so much. I have chosen pages and I've chosen to like authors and things like that I know are going to uplift me. I was at a speaker a few months ago, and his thing was that, and it was a quote that he had used from somebody else, 5 years from now we'll be the subject of the books that we read, the people we surround ourselves with. We'll be a product of that. But he talked about, and it was hilarious, he talked about the hoovers in your life. He says, you know, the people when you go to say anything and they go, because they just want to suck all of the life out of you and all of the energy out of you. Move up past them and surround yourself with radiators, people that want to support you, keep you warm, keep you, you know. And that's such a lovely analogy. Actually, he was talking about getting rid of the hoovers and bring in the radiators.
So, very good.
And I suppose he was probably actually of an age where people would have come into a house and maybe rested on a radiator or sat, you know, so he was kind of talking about that side of things.
Good analogy,
It's a great, but I also love the idea of the programme Vision Design for Life. I mean, I think that's just so inspiring, because we often plan our holidays more than we plan our lives.
Yeah, you're right.
And I know that's another analogy, but often we're just sort of sitting back and letting life happen. But.
Well, that's it, and we can tend to do that, you know, and then maybe something might happen and it gives us a little push forwards. So yeah, the vision design for life really is, you know, helping people to tune into what it is that they do like. You know, because I find from my own personal experience, if I feel fulfilled within what I do, and fill myself up 100%, well then I can give 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's about finding out, you know, tuning into, well, what are your gifts and talents? What is it that makes you zing?
Yeah.
You know, and you might think it's something else. You know, people might come to me and say, well, I really don't know what it is. So, you know, there's a process of trying to find out, you know, even going back to, well, what did you like to do as a child?
Yeah.
You know, tune into things that yeah. So
and surrounding ourselves and consciously choosing to surround ourselves with positive things and things we enjoy doing, because a lot of the time we find we're not enjoying.
And it can be hobbies, and you know, you can build a career out of
and
something that you love to do.
And as we're happier, then that makes changes in other aspects of our lives really as well. So it's the knock-on, it's the ripple effect really, isn't it? Coming out from.
It affects everything really, doesn't it?
It certainly does. When we're happy inside, that's certainly where we're going to enjoy a happier lifestyle as well, and everybody else around us be happier as well. Because I think sometimes people see personal development maybe as a little bit of a negative thing, that it's a selfish thing. But for me, I know as my life has improved, the people around me have benefited from that immensely.
Keep doing what you're doing, kind of thing. Whatever you're doing, it's suiting you.
It's working. So, well, thank you very much for your time and your wisdom this afternoon, and for sharing some of that insight. Because certainly, I know that the more I talk to people like yourself, the more inspired I become, and the more enthused I become. So I hope our viewers watching in this afternoon have enjoyed just those ideas. And there's mentors and coaches for lots of different aspects of our lives, and we'll have hopefully many viewers that are watching out across the world, and a lot of mentors, and I know you do yourself as well, offer Skype mentoring and Skype coaching and things like that, which is that world has just opened up so much, hasn't it? It has given us such a huge endless possibilities really.
I mean, you can talk to anybody across the world, and you know, I've met so many people through Facebook and social media that, you know, you can just dial up on Skype, and it's as if they're just sitting here.
They're just there. And I think what's fantastic about that too is that it's not somebody on your doorstep, so you don't have to offload to somebody who you're going to meet on the street and stuff like that. You can share your own inner wishes and dreams and goals with quite a degree of privacy and things like that, because you don't have that conscious.
True,
you know, you're not aware that, well, like, actually I've just shared that really deep secret, but I might meet this person for coffee later. And there's those type of things that maybe can keep people stuck, whereas when it feels like
you're right, actually,
it's not anonymous as such, but it's a little bit out of my immediate circle of people. And I think in Ireland that's particularly, we're all very because it's such a small world, and you're always going to trip over somebody that's going to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody else. So I think, I know friends of mine find that quite a comforting element, that they've got that sense of privacy sort of thing.
Absolutely, yes, it's a good way of looking at it, so Skype is amazing, so I mean, great to be able to work with people all over the world, it's an amazing tool.
Fantastic. Well, keep doing, I like that, keep doing the good work, and keep inspiring and sharing your journey and your wisdom, because it certainly, as you said, it suits you. And become the yes person, I think, is the saying yes to life really, that's the general idea. So thank you to all our viewers for watching in on Destination Wellbeing this afternoon. I'll be in with Rowan on his morning show on Thursday morning and chat a little bit more about our show this afternoon, and then we'll be back next Tuesday for the next episode, and we'll be in touch then. Thank you.
Thank you very much.